The night was unusually cold as Ethan Walker, a broke single dad working double shifts as a mechanic, pushed his old truck along the empty highway after it stalled again. His daughter Lily slept in the back seat, wrapped in a thin blanket. Ethan was exhausted, but when he saw a black luxury SUV crashed against a guardrail, smoke rising, he didn't hesitate. He parked the truck sideways, grabbed his small emergency kit, and sprinted toward the wreck even though flames licked the hood. Inside, a woman in a torn designer dress was pinned, her forehead bleeding, her breathing shallow. Ethan broke the window with a wrench, ignoring the glass cutting his arms, and pulled her out moments before the engine burst into flames behind them. The woman collapsed into his arms, shaking uncontrollably, whispering something he could barely make out. Ethan carried her to his truck, waking Lily, who gasped at the sight. He checked the woman's pulse, it was weak but steady. Without knowing who she was, he drove through the night to the nearest rural clinic, a place he knew well from Lily's past fevers. The nurses rushed her inside, but before Ethan could fill out the paperwork, his phone buzzed. His landlord had messaged again, rent overdue, eviction soon. Ethan sighed, knowing he couldn't afford to stay long, yet he waited until the doctor said she was stable. He simply nodded, picked up Lily, and walked out silently. The next morning, the woman woke to cameras, security guards, and her crying personal assistant. She was Bianca Sterling, billionaire tech founder and one of the most powerful women in the country. Everyone asked how she survived the fire, but Bianca only remembered a rough, warm voice telling her she would be okay and strong arms lifting her from the flames. She demanded the hospital show her records, but there was no name, no signature, just the words, Good Samaritan, male. Bianca felt frustration rising. Someone had saved her life, risked everything, and walked away without asking for anything. Ethan didn't even tell anyone about the rescue. He returned to his tiny apartment, fixing old engines for neighbors to make quick cash. Lily kept asking about the pretty lady with the shiny dress, but Ethan only smiled softly and told her she was safe now. Inside, though, he couldn't forget the terror in the woman's eyes or how light she had felt in his arms. He wondered if she had a family worried about her. But reality crashed back when the landlord knocked, reminding him that they had 5 days to leave. Ethan decided not to think about the woman anymore, she belonged to a world far away from his struggles. Bianca, however, couldn't rest. She reviewed highway footage, traffic cameras, anything that could help track the mystery man. Her team found blurry images of a rusty old truck and a tall man carrying her through smoke. Bianca froze when she saw the small child peeking from the truck window. She requested the plates, but the angle was too dark. Still bandaged, she ordered her assistant to search every rural clinic and mechanic shop within 50 miles. Something about the man's determination had pierced through her trauma, leaving a strange ache she couldn't understand. Meanwhile, Ethan and Lily moved into a small room above a friend's garage. It wasn't nice, but it was shelter. Ethan worked on fixing the friend's van in exchange for staying there. Lily colored pictures on the floor, sometimes drawing the woman from the accident. Ethan tried to forget, but one night he heard the news on an old TV. Bianca Sterling was offering a massive reward for information about her unknown rescuer. Ethan's heart pounded. He didn't want the attention, the cameras, or strangers knocking on his door. He wanted peace for Lily. So he did what he always did when life got overwhelming, he stayed silent. Bianca's investigation eventually reached the small clinic where she had been dropped off. A nurse remembered the man's gentle voice and the little girl with the messy ponytail. That was enough. Bianca ordered her driver to take her there immediately. When she arrived, the nurse pointed her toward an old mechanic who might know the truck. Bianca approached him with hope burning in her chest. The man recognized the description instantly and told her about Ethan Walker, the quiet single dad struggling to survive. Bianca felt her throat tighten. The man who saved her was living in hardship while she recovered in luxury. She followed the directions to the garage house miles away. When she stepped out of her car, she saw Lily playing with chalk on the pavement, humming softly. The child noticed her and smiled brightly, recognizing her from the rescue night. "You're okay now," Lily said happily. Bianca knelt, touched by the little girl's sweetness, then looked up to see Ethan emerging from the garage, oil-stained, tired, and startled to see her standing there. For a moment, neither spoke, their worlds colliding in a silent, powerful shock. Ethan apologized for leaving the hospital without a word, explaining that he didn't want trouble or attention. Bianca stepped closer, her voice trembling slightly as she said he had given her a second life. She thanked him with a sincerity that made Ethan's chest tighten. Lily took Bianca's hand, telling her how her dad was the strongest person she knew. Bianca's eyes grew glossy as she realized the depth of their struggles, the worn-out shoes, the thin jackets, the broken-down tools. She felt a fierce determination rising within her. Bianca offered to help, first a job, then a home, and finally a chance for Ethan to rebuild his life with dignity. But Ethan refused money, he only accepted a job interview at her company. Over time, he earned respect for his brilliance with machines and safety systems. Bianca visited often, drawn to the quiet strength that had saved her life. What began as gratitude slowly grew into something deeper, something unspoken. And though Ethan had once vanished without saying a word, this time he stayed, and the woman he saved became the one who helped save him back.